Ford Transit 250. It's the longest, it's the tallest, and it's a 250. The person that bought this, she's been camping all her life. She's been tent camping. Later on now, she's had the experience of living in 2 different types of Airstream travel trailers. I love those Airstreams. I'm going to get me an Airstream one of these days. I love them. Anyway, she's experienced in camping, in traveling. She knows what she likes. She knows what she doesn't like. She understands that this is a step down from her rather large travel trailers, but she's completely committed. She's fully prepared. This layout is what she came in and told me she wanted. She wanted to have these dinette seats here, so when her sister travels with her, she's got a place to sleep. So this is a 5'8" bed area when you convert it, and it's also a dining area. Up front here, we have her big refrigerator. She did not want that tall box refrigerator. As much as she liked the volume of that refrigerator, it just doesn't make sense. As soon as you start putting those big fridge boxes and bathroom boxes in a van, closes everything in. And as you can see, the whole push here was to keep this wide open, sight lines, yet have clear and distinct separate living areas, all in a van, 20 feet. So she's got the 2-door refrigerator. You've got a freezer door and a fridge door side by side, isotherm. She's got a nice cabinet here with a countertop, shelves. We will probably finish this off in some fashion up here. Gave her a little short shelf up here rather than putting in one of those big, deep cargo shelves. For some reason, I think it's the slope. These Ford Transits have a very steep slope coming off of this first ceiling strut. They come down fast and short. So this gets low real quick. And it's, for some reason, it's not so easy to get in and out of these seats into the living space as it is in a ProMaster or a Sprinter. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that these Transits are narrow from the inside frame members. Okay, we've got a very deep distance to the windows or to the outsides of the fan chassis. So when you're measuring inside the window areas, it's the widest of all 3 platforms. You can get a 75-inch mattress back there. It's the widest. But then when you start putting modules in, that's when you realize how narrow it is. This is only a 23-inch aisle right here. I think Vagabond was 27. I did not measure Sam's. Sam, you're probably in the balmy, beautiful state of Florida right now. Would you mind measuring your aisle and see what that is? But as you can see, as I've said in the past, you got to let the van talk to you. Let the van speak to you. So if you're going to build modules and you've got this concern, keep the modules underneath this bump if you need to gain that space. Because if you want to go taller, you got to pull it all the way out to here in order to clear that wall space. So you build accordingly. Once you and the van have had your conversation, you'll know what to do. So she's going to put all of her window covers up here. Roll them up, store them up here. So this is just a little purpose-built shelf. It has a single purpose. But if you didn't have that little shelf there, where would you put those rolled up things when you drive? Where are you going to shove them in behind it? So we have a place for them. I did the same thing in the back of van number 1. Shelf. This is the shelf for my rear window covers. That's all this is for. It's purpose built just for that. Don't think you're going to put your bowling balls up there. You got to find another place for them. I've come to learn that I like a long galley. This one is 6 feet long. And it has a return. It's an L-shaped galley, right? With a hutch. Look how cute this hutch is. I love this. So I built this hutch in such a way that you have access, working room under it, and you've got use of the shelves, but it doesn't destroy your sight line through the van. You want to keep the entire length of the van in your subconscious so you understand how large a living space you're in, but yet we still have these designated living areas, separate. So you can move from one to the other like you move through a house. Anyway, overhead cabinet here for the Galley. This is a big one. This is the biggest one I've ever built. And that's because this is the tallest van I've ever had to build. So we've got a lot of roof height. Now, I don't have my insulation in top and bottom just yet, so we are going to compress things. And because this person is not that tall, we're going to take advantage of this height and give her a lot of insulation. We talked about doing a raised floor with some storage underneath, or a pull-out deck in the sliding door area, which I'm going to get to one of these days. I've had that in my pea brain, that idea, for a long time. We'll get to that. But right now, it's a 250. So we got to be very careful about what we put in the van. It's when you've got this much space, the inclination is to load it up, fill it up with stuff. I don't want to do that. I want to be as minimalistic as possible so there's enough weight left over for her to bring her stuff. Bicycles, kayaks. She does all kinds of outdoor activities. Hiking. Big, big cabinet over the Galley. I think there'd be enough room here that I could probably put a little shelf under it. And I'm thinking, I know Alex is at home watching this video right now, and he's starting to think about how we got to build all this stuff. It's very possible that we may put in a little spice shelf right here that then turns right into this hutch. I'm not sure. We may integrate it. There will not be a window here, so we'll have an opportunity for a nice backsplash, whether it's tile or brick or stainless steel. All the wood in here is going to be cherry, and I'm looking into some type of honeycomb plywood panel, lightweight plywood panels. I'm going to try to get away from the typical plywood with the cherry veneer. I want to get something lighter. Corian countertops. Rather than sending my cabinet all the way down, as I did in Sam's van and the Vagabond, we can't do it down there. As you'll see, that's her bed area. So we want to put a headboard back there. We don't want her sleeping under a cabinet. So we put the cabinet here, and we tucked one up in the corner by her feet in the back. I'll show you that. This cabinet, as you can see, is narrower in both directions. It's not as deep in either direction. That's so you can have clear access coming in and out of the van. Sliding door. But double doors up here, or sliders. She really likes the sliders, so we probably put sliding doors here. They're lighter than a hard door would be. Sink is going to go here. Induction cooktop will be in a drawer. She's got a bank of drawers here for kitchenware, utensils, cookware. The cabinet, the cupboard that's under the sink, we're going to split that in half. I'm going to give her an outdoor kitchen on the other side of this peninsula. When the door's open, it comes down. She's got her stove, her propane, her propane. And then on this side, she'll have her cleaning supplies and blenders and whatever else. On the return of the Galley, 2 deep drawers for clothing. And then down here, there'll be no drawer, but a removable panel, because that is right where the Big Mama Luke battery lives. The 630 amp hour lithium battery lives right under this return. This return was built around that battery. So it'll sit there, the panel comes off, the battery can be removed from the van. And then that will come across, and my BMS will be under this bench seat. This is one of the dinette seats, right? And then it converts into a bed for her sister when she's traveling with her sister. It also acts as the step into the bedroom. And obviously the table. It could be a lagoon, but I'm not keen on the lagoons because they do have some flex. So we're going to have a wall-mounted mechanism similar to what I was going to do in Mr. and Mrs. Sprinter's van. The design stage of the build is one of my favorite parts. You have a general idea of what you want, but trial and error and their flighty sister serendipity are the real heroes of innovation. Let me show you the guts of this operation. Now, this being the prototype, I made it out of 1.5 inch 80/20 because that's what I had in these particular lengths. I didn't want to start cutting up real nice lengths of 80/20. It's too costly when you're in the design phase. So the final version of this is going to be constructed out of the Series 10, which is 1 inch. This is the 1.5 inch stuff. This is like a forklift, for crying out loud. We don't need this much here. It's overkill. I can't believe I just said that. So my objectives, as you saw, I wanted a nice smooth linear motion where you could move the table and get out of your seat on either side without disturbing what was on the table, without disturbing your dinner guests. The other situation in this dinette area is mostly when traveling, we need to put a board down here to bridge this gap between the two benches, pull the cushions down and make a day bed for the dog. This is not a new idea, but I decided it was time to make this double duty. So now this will drop down with the table in place where that table can press down, roll up and down to become daybed dinette. And it'll also slide this way on rails. So you can slide it and get out of this little situation here. So climbing into the bed area, like I said, you would slide this table down out of the way and you just step up here. So as you're coming into the bedroom, I have a short cabinet up here on the wall by her feet, and I shortened it to a point where it does not get in the way of her coming into the bedroom. She steps on the dinette, and then you can see now why she didn't want any cabinet here, because she's going to lay with her head on this side of the bed. This is a 48-inch bed, 48 by, what are we figuring here, 72, 73 inches. So we took down the wall cabinet and I split it. I put some of it over here and I put some of it over the sliding door. And with this hutch, it gives you the sense that this is a separate bedroom, like you were in a Class A or a travel trailer. It's pretty cool. But you still have that open sight line. I got a television over here. This is a DC television with a DVD player on board. That'll be on an arm so she can watch it from the bed, or she can watch it from the rest of the van. So the hutch is going to serve both sides of the van. On the bedroom side, you'll have this space here with a shelf for her glasses and her water and her telephone, and maybe put her teeth in the glass, I don't know. And then on this side, you've got storage for the galley. Back here in the garage, you can see the familiar bridge, the 80-20 bridging that I'll have in this van. And also clear span with my aluminum I-beams. And like you can see, the Big Mama Luke battery is behind the water tank inside that dresser cabinet. You'll see the back of 2 drawers there when we're finished. This long alleyway here is for her mountain bike and all her tools. So we're going to put a long sliding tray that goes all the way down this aisle, all the way down. And she can pull that out and she'll have her bicycle, all her bicycle equipment and her tools, all on that one tray. And these walls are going to have to be removable. There's a couple of spots that we have to be careful we do not block up with our walls. Here's some grounding points, right? There's a couple of wire harnesses back here. This is in the rear of the van. So I'm going to be very, very careful to look through this whole van and see where I have to maintain access. Changing light bulbs, getting to wire harnesses and ground points. So we'll be discussing that in the upcoming weeks. The water tank will be removable, as I've done in past vans. So the garage with a fixed bed, this is a 48-inch deep bed. With a fixed bed, this layout in the garage works very, very well. I can get all my mechanicals back here and leave them a tremendous amount of room for storage, bikes, whatever they need back here.